Michael, so good to see you. I have a really important question today. Is a trust a must? Let's talk through what every family needs to know about estate planning. When it comes to estate planning, trusts often sound complex or unnecessary, but depending on your assets and goals, a trust can be a powerful tool. Let's start big picture. What is a trust and why do so many people assume they don't need one?
Well, a trust really is a tool. It's an estate planning roadmap. And I think that a lot of folks, maybe they look at what a trust involves. If you Google trust, what you're going to see is GRAT, GRUT. You'll
Right.
see, what is it for rich people only, essentially? So we see that people just kind of get overwhelmed
Hmm.
by the jargon with the trust, and maybe they don't think it's for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then let's talk through, break down who needs a trust. When does that make sense? And who might be better off without one?
Well, those that have minor beneficiaries, whether that's a grandchild or a child,
Hmm.
if you have a large estate, many accounts, if you have real estate, more than one or two holdings, especially in different states, it's probably going to be a good idea. And if we have complicated family dynamics, maybe I want to wait for one person to get something when they get a little bit older. So it
Hmm.
just gives me that control.
Hmm. And what are the biggest advantages of using a trust, especially when it comes to probate? Because that word comes up a lot. Probate, privacy, and control.
Yeah, the advantages are probably best talked about through learning about probate. So
Okay.
probate is can be a long, drawn out situation. It starts. If you've ever been an actual executor, you know that you have to open the estate. You have to open an
Right.
estate account. You have to then tell the creditors, hey, we've got someone that's passed away. Do they owe you any money? They have 90 days to file against the estate. Then we go to assets and inventory, the appraisals of the estate. And then from there, we go into basically counting what we have afterwards, essentially, and then finally distributing the assets. So if it's a large estate, it can take up to 18 months.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can see why people consider probate a dirty word. So then what are the downsides or common misconceptions about trust that people should understand before setting one up?
I would say people don't really think that they have control, right? So there's this feeling of loss of control once the assets go into the estate, and that's not the case, right? So we have sometimes we'll be living off of the assets in the estate, and we have to maintain that estate because it needs to be managed. The trust
Hmm.
needs to be managed while we're alive, and so one of the misconceptions also is that I have to have a trustee that I know. You can actually use the attorney that drafted the estate. I can have one or more trustees.
Okay, so even with a solid estate plan or trust, I do want to ask, why are beneficiary designations so important? And how often should they be revisited?
Well, we look at about every 3 years, if not more. Anytime you have a change in your life, marriage, divorce, remarriage, if a beneficiary passes away, we want to look at that. But also, more importantly, because if you just have a will, it doesn't matter what the will says. Um, the beneficiary designations are going to trump the will. So if you don't keep it updated, you might be leaving something to someone you don't really want to leave it to.
Right. Ex-spouses. That's not the first or last time that has happened. Well,
Right.
clearly, this is an important topic. I know you're always thinking about the whole family when it comes to financial planning and legacy planning. So, Michael, if somebody would like to sit down with you and determine if a trust makes sense for them, what's the best way to reach you?
They can get me at michael.jones@aprfinancialgroup.com or 704-400-7800.
Great. Michael, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.